All right, we are going to go over what we reviewed on Friday and learned on Thursday, and that is FOIL, which stands for First, Outers, Inners, Last. And this is when we are multiplying a binomial times a binomial, okay? So one thing we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to do the first one, and then I want you to hit pause and try the second one. So we are going to do multiplication here, so you're like distributing this 5x. So first you're going to do 5x times 3x. That's our first one. That gives me 15x squared. Okay, it needs to be squared because x times x is x squared. Then we got to do the 5x times the negative 1, and the sign goes with it, so that turns the 5x into a negative 5x, because 1 times 5x is just itself 5x, and the negative stays with it. Then I do the inners, which is 2 times 3x. 2 times 3x is positive 6x. Then I do my last. My last would be 2 times negative 1. That just gets me negative 2. Now, whenever I do a FOIL style problem, which is a binomial times a binomial, since there's two terms each, I'm going to combine the middle term. So if I combine these two, negative 5x plus 6x, that just gives me positive 1x. Okay, so then I rewrite the other parts. I still have 15x squared at the front, and then I still have minus 2 at the back. If I were to name this, okay, the degree, it would be quadratic because it is to the second degree. And then there are 1, 2, 3 terms. Remember, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. So this is a quadratic trinomial. I want you to hit pause right now on the video, and I want you to work on number 2. All right. Hopefully you try to do number 2 there on your own. Let's see how it goes. Let's do 6x times negative 2x. That gets me negative 12x squared. Then I do 6x times positive 10. That gives me plus 60x. Then I get the insides. 4 times negative 2x. That gets me negative 8x. Then last, I do 4 times 10. That gives me positive 40. Now remember, I can always combine my two middle terms, so I'm going to combine these like terms. I'm going to do positive 60x minus 8x. 60 minus 8 is a positive 52x in the middle, so it's positive. And then my other two terms stay the same, so that turns to negative 12x squared. And this stays positive 40. Okay. And this also has a squared here at the top, and there are 1, 2, 3 terms. So this also is a quadratic trinomial. Okay. All right. Enough of the warm up. If you'll get your note sheet out from the weekend, the note sheet. The note sheet. It looks like this. If you have the note sheet, this was it from Friday. Multiplying binomials, FOIL. We filled this stuff out. We did the front side. We're now going to work on the back side here. So let's go and look at the back side. It says multiply the following using the distributive property. Now, we can't FOIL this because it's not a binomial times a binomial. It's a binomial times a trinomial, okay? So this one we're going to do like, okay, 6n times 2n squared, that gives me 12n cubed, because there's a ninja one there, and 2. And then I do 6n times positive n. There's just a 1 there, so 1 times 6 is 6. N times n is n squared. And the last piece, I do 6n times 7. That gives me positive 42n. Okay, now I'm going to distribute this negative 8. So negative 8 times 2n squared, that gives me negative 16n squared. Remember, this is not FOIL because we do not have a binomial times a binomial. I do negative 8 times positive 1n. Remember that ninja one? It's right there. Then I do negative 8 times positive 7. Gets me negative 56. Now, if there's anything I can combine, I want to combine them. So let's see if I can highlight some things that we can combine. I see a positive 6n squared. If anything else has n squared, then I can combine it. It looks like this 16n squared is something I can combine. Act like that piece of the n is not part of it right there. 12n cubed right now has nothing with it, so it just stays 12n cubed. Okay, if I want to write it in standard form, which is writing it with the exponents descending from largest to smallest, that's going to go first. So I got 6n, positive 6n squared minus 16n squared. That gives me negative 10n squared. Okay, and let's see, 42n. I think that can go with negative 8n. So we can get this negative 8n with this positive 42n. So we're going to do 42n minus 8n. That gives me positive 36n. And then the only other thing that has nothing else left to do that just kind of hangs on is negative 56. Now, FOIL did not work here. So it says multiply using the distributing property. FOIL did not work at all. But this is in standard form. We would name it a third degree polynomial. Sorry, a third degree 4-term polynomial. Because after 3 terms, we call it a binomial, a trinomial. After that, we just call it a 4-term polynomial. And the highest degree is 3. Okay? Okay, let's move down to this crazy box question. Say what? It says find the area of the shaded region. Well, shoot, it's not shaded. That's the first thing we got to do. Let's shade this bad boy real quick. We want to shade this area in here. Shade, 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 shade. I can't shade inside the lines, so I'm really bad with the mouse. All right, so that's shaded. We want to find the area of the shaded region. So the shaded region is changed because there's this little box inside of it, okay? So it says find the area of the shaded region. Rectangle area for me. How do you find area? Oh, you got it. Good job. It is length times width. Okay, well, the length in this problem is 2x plus 5. And the width in this problem is 3x plus 1. I wish we knew a way to multiply a binomial times a binomial. Okay, it looks like we're going to do 2x plus 5 times 3x plus 1. Okay, and that's going to find the area of the big square, the whole big square. So let's do 2x times 3x. That gets me 6x squared. And then let's do 2x times 1. Okay, that gives me positive 2x. And then how about 5 times 3x? That gives me positive 15x. Sorry if it's loud. The Chinese school is outside of the room. They're beating on drums. Then we do 5 times 1. That gets me positive 5. Okay? Combine my two middle terms. I want to combine 2x, positive 15x. My final answer is 6x squared plus 2x plus 15x. Those get to 17x plus 5. That's my final answer for the big, but now I need to find the shaded region. So now I got to find what is the area of this region. I got to find that. What is the area of this, question mark? Well, in order to find that, I got to do x times, I'm going to not do that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do x times x plus 2. So that's the length and width. That's the area inside of this thing. So we want to know what the area that's going to be. We're just going to distribute that. Well, what's x times x, people? That's just x squared. Okay? What's x times 2? That's 2x. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take this area of the first one, put parentheses around it. It's a bad parentheses, Mr. Toohey. You need to get it together. Got to put parentheses around that. And then I'm going to subtract this x squared plus 2x, which is the other part of that. So x squared plus 2x. Okay. Basically what we are doing is we are doing the area of the big minus the area of the small. Okay, that's all we're doing. So now we got to figure out, okay, what are like terms that we can subtract? Let's see, 6x squared minus, remember Ninja 1 is sneaking right in there, 1x squared, so that gives me 5x squared. That's an x, it's just a bad one. Okay, and let's see, 2x and 17x. So 17x minus 2x, that gives me positive 15x. And then the 5 just stays the same. Okay? The 5 just stays the same. All right. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty tricky. What I want you to do now is I want you to try to do this next one on your own. So let's do our shaded region. Okay? This is going to be our shaded region. We're trying to find the area of all this shaded region. Okay? I'm going to help you set it up. Here's how we would want to set this up. We want to do area of the big. So we're going to want to FOIL 5x minus 8 times 7x plus 3. We're going to want to FOIL that. And we're going to subtract. After you FOIL that, you're going to want to subtract 2x plus 1 when you multiply that by 3x. Okay? I want you to hit pause on the video right now. I want you to hit pause, and I want you to try to FOIL this and distribute that second part. And after that, I would like you to do this on your own. All right, hopefully you did this one on your own, but you should have gotten to this point, okay? Once you get to this point, we just want to try to subtract these two numbers. So let's distribute a FOIL answer for both of those. So now I'm going to do 35x squared minus 6x squared. That's going to give me 29x squared. And then, that's a bad squared. And then the negative 41x minus 3x, so that goes to negative 44x. Remember, use a calculator if you're struggling with how I'm getting these subtracting answers, and that should be the answer to the end of this. Okay, now your job is to go back on Google Classroom and to finish the document on there, and if you can work on that tonight, that is your homework. You need to finish that and hit turn in when you are done. If you're having trouble, you can leave a comment on the Google Doc. You can leave it in the classroom as well for me to see. Good luck.